Dirt Trax is sponsored by Can-Am. We're built for this. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. And by Yamaha, conquer outdoors.
Polaris's 2020 side-by-side new model launch took place in two parts that happened back-to-back but in completely separate locations. This was actually quite telling. If the products we were going to see were last year's models with new graphics, it's more than likely Polaris would have simply done a full-line product launch at one location. But it being split into two parts meant that at least one of the product lines, either Ranger or Razer, was getting something big. In this case, though, it wasn't one or the other. There was big news from both. On the Ranger side, we had to ask ourselves, what could Polaris possibly give us that they don't already offer? They really do have the most complete lineup of utility side-by-sides in the industry, with pretty much no gaps at all. But in pure Polaris form, the news for 2020 wasn't about adding a new model. It was about improving and essentially replacing an existing model with something that's better in every way. The model that's getting replaced in 2020 is the Ranger 900. This unit was Polaris's #1 selling side-by-side model for years, mostly because it offered full-size Ranger capability at a more affordable price than a full-jam Ranger XP. For 2020, Polaris has replaced the Ranger 900 with an all-new Ranger 1000. Now don't get this twisted, this is not a Ranger 1000 XP. But if you're having a hard time telling the difference, you're completely forgiven. The two look nearly identical at first glance. It's not till you move in for a closer look that you start to see the differences. The biggest update over the Ranger 900 is obviously the motor. The 900 has been replaced with a 1000cc single overhead cam twin that produces about 60 horsepower. Why even do this? The only thing that's likely to change with an update like this is the price, right? Wrong. The price point on the new Ranger 1000 is only $300 more than the outgoing 900. Other updates include new plastics that are so similar to the XP they could almost be the same. A new 3-passenger interior has split bench seating with an adjustable driver's seat and under-seat storage on both sides. The dash has also been reworked to look more like the XP. A great-looking gauge cluster, new shifter, large top-access glove box, lots of integrated storage areas, and room for no less than 8 beverages round out the new interior. The mechanical changes are mostly limited to the motor, but a new quick-access air cleaner is going to make routine maintenance that much simpler. The new Ranger 1000 is yet another in a long line of examples of Polaris taking a hugely successful model that is still selling extremely well as is, and giving it a major overhaul, but not charging more for all the new updates and features. Right now, this is a uniquely Polaris way of doing things, and it's one that benefits you, the consumer, big time.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Princess Auto, a unique world of equipment, tools, and more. Closed captioning of Dirt Trax is sponsored by MBRP Power Sports, race-inspired performance.
While the new Ranger 1000 is definitely big news and will no doubt be a hit with buyers everywhere, the biggest news from Polaris for 2020 is no question the new Razer Pro XP. Make no mistake, the Razer is not just a Razer XP with some new plastic and some new doodads. This is a completely new vehicle from the ground up. Polaris made it very clear to all in attendance at the Pro XP unveil that the Turbo S and Turbo S Velocity models are not being replaced. They stay right where they are in the lineup for 2020. The Pro XP simply takes residence one level above them, now occupying the top spot in Polaris's line of sports side-by-sides. To understand what the XP Pro is, you first need to understand what it isn't, and I know this is some Mr. Miyagi type stuff, but hear me out. For its initial release, the Pro XP comes in 3 versions. A base model, a mid-level model without dynamics, and the top-of-the-line dynamics-equipped model. All are powered by the same double overhead cam twin-cylinder 1000cc mill, which is based on the same platform as the Turbo S's power plant, but in the Pro XP it's now pumping out 181 ponies. Polaris claims the new engine is tuned to produce most of its power between 20 and 50 miles per hour. Both versions are also only 64 inches wide, which probably shocked us as much as it shocked you. 22 inches of suspension travel front and rear and a 96-inch wheelbase round out the numbers Razer fans are most interested in. I spent a solid 5 hours in the wide-open desert in the Dynamics 2.0 equipped Pro XP, and I can say without hesitation that after riding them back-to-back, this vehicle can be driven as fast, if not faster, than a Turbo S or Turbo S Velocity. It corners flatter, it handles more predictably, and it rides smoother in all conditions. Of course, a lot of the credit for this has to go to the new Dynamics 2.0 system. Now, Dynamics 2.0 isn't really a new system, but rather a complete rework of the original Dynamics technology we all know and love. Processing time is dramatically shorter, shock adjustments are almost twice as fast. Programming is smarter and tuned for even better ride and handling in all conditions. It's not just a name, Dynamics 2.0 is better. It's also easier to use, which brings me to the next most impressive thing about the new XP Pro, the interior. Everything about the interior of the Pro XP is impressive. The seats are ultra sculpted, and while uncomfortable looking at first, are actually ultra comfortable. New 6-point retractable harnesses are easy to use and increase safety. The dash is all sculpted and includes lots of storage, a brand new passenger grab handle, and sweet looking accent lighting. Both seats are adjustable fore and aft and for tilt angle. The steering column tilts, obviously, but it's also telescopic, a first in the side-by-side industry. The 7-inch Ride Command touchscreen infotainment system is canted toward the driver and is in easy reach, but you won't need to reach for it. The new flat-bottom steering wheel features controls for both your radio and Bluetooth stereo, as well as controls for the dynamic system settings. There are buttons to cycle through the 3 pre-programmed bass modes and a big red button, let's call it the oh crap button, that instantly bumps all 4 shocks up to level 10 as long as you hold it down. Being able to adjust your radio, that's great, but being able to adjust dynamics from the wheel, that's genius. I will say this, the big red button is magical. I found I started riding with my thumb on the button at all times. This allowed me to run the dynamics in sport or even comfort and still push as hard as I wanted to through the biggest whoops or washouts. All it took was a quick press of the button, and any impact you'd normally be calling your chiropractor about was dulled to almost nothing. This brings me to my only suggestion for Polaris about this system. That big red button should be moved to a paddle-style lever that can be reached with your right-hand fingers. This would allow you to more comfortably use it as a driving tool at all times. Still, either way, I love it. The Pro XP contains a long list of other impressive upgrades as well, like the strongest drivetrain ever installed in a Razer side-by-side, new clutches, clutch venting, and a new belt that results in an almost 50% increase in belt life, cool external accent lighting front and rear, and a massive cargo box that can actually haul an impressive amount of stuff, including a full-size 32-inch tire. There's just so much new, cool stuff to talk about, we simply don't have enough time to cover it all in this story. But you can bet we're going to be bringing you a full test ride on the XP Pro as soon as physically possible. I think the most important comment made during the 2020 Razer Pro XP intro was that this unit is just the beginning of a new generation of Razer vehicles. Reading between the lines leaves us speculating that the Pro XP will likely show up in 72-inch wide and 4-seat configurations in the not-too-distant future.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Shock Strap. Start strapped, stay strapped.
Regular inspection of your tow vehicle tires is important to keep you and others safe out on the road. But one thing that we often overlook is the regular inspection and replacement of our trailer tires due to their less frequent use. And this is an area that we can all use a brush up on. Trailer tires are much like the tires on your car or truck. They wear out, they will succumb to weathering if not properly stored, and they do need regular inspection and replacement when the signs show. Proper trailer tires feature ST on the sidewall for specialty trailer tire and is what you're looking for, not a passenger or light truck tire, since trailer tires are designed for increased durability, greater resistance to the elements, and heavier loads. So with that said, let's dive a little deeper into the different type of trailer tires that we use here at Dirt Trax and the tires that we chose to use for each application. When it comes to the weekend, many of us pack up the travel trailer or toy hauler and seek out a little extra fun. And when it comes to toy haulers, tire choice is a pretty big deal. And it's a big deal because a toy hauler like this tandem axle Raptor can be loaded to a significant weight once cargo, recreational vehicles, fluids, and personal items are loaded. ST tires have a load capacity nearly 40% greater than a passenger car tire and 10% greater than the average light truck tire. This reduces your risk should you encounter an overloaded situation. And to ensure that we have the best capacity available for a toy hauler like this, we chose the Carlisle Csl 16. It's an all-steel body design delivering the highest load capacities of any Carlisle ST tire, up to 4,400 pounds. The closed shoulder tread design reduces tread wear when cornering or turning with heavy loads. When you're hauling heavy loads and value a dependable tire, the CSL 16's robust all-steel construction is the tire that you need. Now, sometimes your trailering needs aren't as heavy-duty as a fully loaded toy hauler, but you still need the best performance to keep your toys safe. The Sport Trail LH is a bias-ply tire designed with specific tread and sidewall compounds for toughness and sidewall puncture resistance, which our crew here at Dirt Trax knows is important when hauling ATVs, side-by-sides, and snowmobiles into places where the road may not be well maintained. The Sport Trail LH delivers all of this in an affordable design that doesn't compromise on durability. And we use them on both single and tandem axle utility trailers. Wider shoulder lugs improve the tire's contact with the road surface when under load, as well as increasing the tire's resistance to lateral load forces when turning or backing up. The Sport Trail LH isn't just a value-pack tire. Interlocking lugs distribute the trailer's weight evenly on the road surface, and linked with the center tread layout not only increases stability at high highway speeds, it also reduces wear, and more importantly, uneven heel-toe lug wear, where the leading edge and trailing edge of the tire lug wears quicker, reducing the effective life of the tire. Carlisle has spent much time refining the Sport Trail LH to ensure even and consistent wear across the entire tread surface, and much of this can be attributed to the triple center ribs, increasing stability and evening out wear. To assist in the reduction of groove cracking, Carlisle also integrated a full radius curve at the deepest portion of the tread grooves. This allows the tire to flex normally while under load. Now, you may find yourself needing to replace your trailer tires, but the rims that you're going to put those tires back onto don't get you very excited. Well, lucky for you, Carlisle also makes custom-looking aluminum and steel rim designs. This mid-2000s travel trailer is clean and tidy, but in desperate need of a new set of matching tires, and the old stock white steel rims are looking pretty old and making this trailer look even older than it is. Sticking with the same 205, 75, 15-inch tires that you'll find on most mid-sized tag travel trailers, we're going to go from a mismatched set of tires to a brand new Carlisle Radial Trail HD, offering us far more capacity and greater service life. While we're installing the brand new tires, the old stock rims are going to be retired, and we're going to replace them with a set of Trax machined aluminum rims with clear coat and black accents. With a load rating of 2,150 pounds per rim, we'll have a greater capacity and stylish good looks for our new Radial Trail HD tires. The Radial design is best for a smoother ride and long-haul towing applications. Heat buildup in a tire can shorten its life, so the Radial Trail HD features a proprietary heat-dissipating rubber compound, allowing this tire to withstand high levels of road heat. The spiral tread cap ply with the steel belts reduce the risk your treads will separate and also increases resistance to cuts, punctures, and impacts from potholes and curbs. The improved sidewall compound of the Radial Trail HD enables it to withstand UV and ozone deterioration up to 20% better than its predecessor, reducing the possibility for sidewall cracking and dry rot, extending tire life and increasing sidewall strength. A lot of time has gone into the tread pattern on this tire to not only increase tire life, but reduce tread wear and reduce rolling resistance and reduce heat. The Radial Trail HD features the best-in-class safety and protection features, and when linked with a set of Trax rims, significantly updates the look of a clean old trailer. We expect much of our trailers, and much can be expected when we install the proper tire for the job that we're asking our trailer to do. And you can expect not just excellent service life, but also peace of mind knowing that our cargo and our trailer are rolling down the road safely and securely.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Argo. Go anywhere.
Does more always equal better? Does more technology always make for a better experience? Is it possible that some form of purity is lost between the base and the high-end model? Is the highest level of technology really necessary to achieve the highest levels of satisfaction and fun? Polaris's Razer 1000 Turbo S currently occupies the highest level of their sport side-by-side lineup and includes every bit of technology Polaris engineers have come up with so far. But all of this super high-tech comes at a price, both literal and figurative. Fox 3.0 internal bypass live valve shocks in the full dynamics package, including the 7-inch touchscreen infotainment unit in the dash, rear view camera, Bluetooth audio, LED accent lights. The Turbo S has technology on a level that could rival any high-end automobile. But what about the purity of the ride? What about simply looking forward as the trail unfolds in front of you without the distraction of screens and music and constant adjustments? After all, this is what driving a Razer is all about, isn't it? Responsibilities and distractions that seem to melt away in a blur while you live wide open, if only just for a moment. This is exactly what Polaris's 2019 RZR 1000 Turbo S Velocity is all about. The ride with no distractions. Essentially, the Velocity is just a Turbo S with less stuff. Under the hood is the very same 168 horsepower twin-cylinder power plant mated to Polaris's isolated, extreme performance, true on-demand 4x4 system. 25 inches of usable wheel travel, as Polaris puts it, is damped by an impressive set of manually adjustable Walker Evans 3.0 Velocity Series shocks, and the whole package rolls on a crazy set of 32-inch ITP Coyote 8-ply tires. At 72 inches wide, this vehicle isn't really intended for the tight woods sections of the East Coast in Canada, though that's not to say it couldn't be used there. It definitely could. But in reality, it's more intended for the wide-open dunes and deserts of the West Coast. Driving the Turbo S Velocity is a bit of an exercise in self-control. To say that this is a fast side-by-side would almost be irresponsible. This side-by-side is beyond fast, and it gets up to speed with an urgency typically reserved for 700-plus horsepower supercars. Strapping yourself into the Velocity reveals some nice touches by Polaris, though I will say the cockpit will feel a little bit too familiar for current XP1K owners for a vehicle that's supposed to have been completely redesigned. Still, the updated 4-point harnesses are a great addition. The seats are comfortable and adjustable. The dash in the Velocity also includes a surprising amount of storage with an under-dash glove box, center-mounted storage box, and a small storage shelf above the passenger grab handle. What's obviously missing from this unit, though, is that beautiful 7-inch touchscreen that comes standard in the full-jam Turbo S version. But the question we've been trying to answer today is, will you actually miss it? And the answer is, once you get rolling, no. The screen is definitely a nice upgrade, there's no question, but there's a certain freedom that comes with focusing on driving your side-by-side and not fiddling with extras. The dash-mounted gauge cluster offers all the info you really need anyway, no matter where you are or what type of riding you're doing. The next question is, will you miss dynamics? Now, I've said many times that in my opinion, dynamics is the most important piece of suspension technology to hit the side-by-side industry in nearly a decade. It's that good. For the average consumer, dynamics offers real-world comfort and performance benefits that, if you're used to having it, will definitely be missed. On the other hand, it also occupies a certain amount of your mind as you focus not just on the ride, but also on the settings and thinking about what the dynamic system is actually doing. My opinion is this: if your options are getting the Velocity without dynamics or not getting one at all, don't even think about it. I drove this unit harder than I've ever driven any side-by-side in the desert, and those Walker's 3.0 Velocity shocks did an almost unbelievable job of soaking up anything I could throw at them with high society composure. I set up all 4 shocks with 4 clicks of compression from full soft. With the suspension set this way, I found small bump compliance at low speeds to be quite harsh. This, of course, was not helped in any way by these massive 8-ply tires. But the second speeds increased, this setup was absolutely perfect. I railed huge whoop sections and hit harsh washouts at full throttle and didn't hear the chassis rub the ground even once, let alone feel the suspension even come close to bottoming. This Velocity package RZR S handles really well. It's ultra predictable in almost any scenario, except maybe the really deep and loose marbles, but the truth is there's almost nothing that would be predictable there. At high speed it tracks straight, even in the whoops, and it feels settled in the corners where the rear end almost never steps out farther than you expect it to. After putting on big miles in the desert in my RZR Velocity, I got to wondering what besides dynamics makes the top of the line Turbo S worth more than this one. The lower half doors and roof that come standard on the S model add tangible value, and these are things that pretty much every Velocity buyer is going to add to their vehicle before they even leave the dealership. If you factor in the value of these 2 items, the $2,900 difference in price between the S and the Velocity gets cut down to around $2,200 US. Is dynamics worth that much? My final verdict is simply this: if you can afford it, and if you like having top-shelf technology, go with the Turbo S with the Dynamics package. It's technology that truly does make every ride more comfortable. But the Velocity package will take you to all the same places and gets you all the benefits of the Turbo S platform for less money and with less peripheral stuff to distract you from the pure joy and escape of the ride. Does this mean that underneath it all, the Velocity is actually better than the Turbo S? Of course not. It's all about what you want to get from your riding experience. If a more focused and distraction-free ride is what you're after, the 2019 RZR 1000 S Velocity is definitely what you're looking for.
Dirt Trax Television has been sponsored by Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation, and by Can-Am. We're built for this.
Thanks for watching Dirt Trax TV. If you like the video that you just saw, click the like button and also comment below. If you haven't subscribed to our page, you can do that as well, and ring the bell if you want notifications of future updates to Dirt Trax on YouTube. Click any of the links on the screen to take you to more Dirt Trax content, and most importantly, make sure you get out and ride.